Today we're going to talk about customizing your WordPress dashboard, which is what you see when you first log into your WordPress website. This is what the default WordPress dashboard looks like. This is my test site, so I haven't done any customizing with it yet. Your WordPress dashboard is the home base of your website. It's where you can get a quick glance of what's going on your site without having to click on multiple pages. The different sections of the dashboard are these blocks of information pertaining to different segments of your site, as well as the alert section, which appears on every page, not just the dashboard, but it might contain update information or configuration that needs to happen. But from this point on, we're going to focus on the Screen Options tab, which is something that's very helpful along with the Help tab on every page of your website. So when you click that tab, it slides down with some great information. But we're going to start with the screen layout section because it's a little bit quicker. So with screen layout, you're just controlling the number of columns that appear on your dashboard. By default, there are 2, but if you click 1, everything spans all the way across the screen. Click 2 is what you're used to seeing. If you click 3, there are 3 columns, and 4, a 4th. And obviously, the more columns there are, the smaller the blocks get. So you might not find 4 columns useful if you're going to be using things like Quick Press, where you can type in content and quickly add a blog post. But play around with the number of columns that are available to you and see what works best. Above screen layout is the show on screen options. And basically, these are just the different blocks that are going to appear below the alert bar. Some of the options are default, like right now, which is something WordPress includes to give you a quick summary of your blog posts, your comments, what theme you're using, what version you're using, etc. And then you'll start to notice some options that are specific to plugins you have installed on your site. For example, I have iThemes Exchange installed on my test site. So if I click that box, I'll scroll down to find where the section appears. And you can see that there's no data since it's a test site, but if I were selling products, that would be great to know. Same is true with forms. This is tied to Gravity Forms. So it shows the available forms that you have on your site. And if you click any of those links, it would take you directly to the form editor, which is nice. Broken Link Checker is a plugin that I recommend for everyone. It tests whether you have any broken links, including documents on your site, which is super helpful to know. The final built-in block is the Welcome section, and this displays across the top whether you have 1, 2, or 3, or 4 columns selected, and it gives you tips and tricks and quick links for customizing your WordPress site, so you can decide if you want that displaying or hidden. So to just kind of quickly run through, we talked about these first couple. Recent comment shows recent comments. Incoming link shows links to your site from other websites. Plugins shows recommended plugins from WordPress, so it's not related to the plugins on your site. We talked about forms, we talked about Broken Link Checker. Quick Press is a way to add a blog post really quickly. Recent drafts shows your recent drafts. WordPress blog and other WordPress news are specific to WordPress, not your WordPress site. So once you've gone through and decided which blocks you want and which blocks you don't, you'll have this probably not organized list of which ones are going to show. So we're done with the Screen Options tab, but here's how we're going to rearrange these blocks. It's really simple. So I kind of want the recent comments by the right now since they're related, but iThemes Exchange, I want a quick glance. So I'm just going to click and drag it over to the right so that I can see it right when the page loads. Forms doesn't really relate to comments, so I'm going to move that to the middle, and same with Broken Link Checker. So to rearrange, as soon as you see those crosshairs, just click and drag so you can move these blocks around until you're happy with the layout. You can also click and drag when you close the Screen Options tab, so you don't have to have that open to adjust them, and you can always expand and collapse the sections as well. The next bit of customization is this Configure option. So when you click it, the section is going to give you what availability you have to adjust the display. So for comments, I'm going to change it to show 3. I have to re-expand it, and then you'll see instead of 5 comments, 3 are shown. So not every section is going to have a configure option, but for the ones that do, go ahead and scope them out, see if you care for the customization options that you have. And you might think that's it for customization, but the reality is that none of this is set in stone. You can always go back to that Screen Options tab and say, you know what, I really want this section to appear. Simply click the box and add it. If you don't like where it is, click and drag it to a new place. So don't be afraid to play around with the page layout, where these sections are shown on your dashboard, whether they're always open or just available to you if you want to see them. So go ahead and log into your WordPress dashboard and play around with your options until you find something that you're happy with. As always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments below.